What country do you think is not worth it for the money? A country you think is too expensive for what it offers? Or that the value versus cost is not worth it for you? I don't think I've ever been somewhere that I felt wasn't worth it, just because of the money. Egypt was dirt cheap and still not worth the hassle. Ireland was expensive, but well worth it. Some countries were great value. Turkey, Ecuador, and Portugal stand out for me. And some were just reasonable. I agree. Egypt is best seen on the Travel Channel. My friend who had backpacked all over the world says the same. He will never go back to Egypt again. Super aggressive peddlers, dirty streets. He's been to many places and Cairo shocked him. And scams everywhere. Same for Morocco. I eventually couldn't stop ignoring all the crazy cheap Ryanair tickets that go there. The fake as hell social media photos. Seems like a lot of people don't like places because they expect it to be like Instagram and have unrealistic expectations. Except for Japan. It's certainly an outlier. You hear so much about it, see all these amazing images and think, okay, this has to be exaggerated. But then you get there, and it's like, wow. I'm from Ireland, and I live there. I cannot understand why so many travel here. It's extremely expensive compared to other European cities. Food, drinks, tourist events. The entire city of Dublin has become perfectly marketed to tourists, so there is barely any original or local places left. I can perhaps understand traveling to the west of Ireland, but even that is increasingly expensive. I understand where you're coming from. However, there's a saying that says you forget other things, but you don't ever forget how someone made you feel. I honestly don't remember the cost of my trip to Ireland, but I vividly remember the way the people made me feel. I was welcomed, told about special things I should go see, and genuinely felt like I was wanted there. Ireland is completely worth the trip. Santorini. Other Greek islands exist, yet everyone flocks to the most touristy one. Crete, Zakynthos, Rhodes, Paros are all much better value for money. Seychelles, very nice beach, but you can get a very nice beach in much cheaper places. Not too much culture, since it was discovered and inhabited relatively recently compared to a lot of places. The food was just okay for me. A lot of the coral reefs have died due to climate change and an El Niño event. If it were a budget destination, I would say it's worth it, but it's very, very expensive. Iceland is pretty expensive. I enjoyed it, don't get me wrong, but it's expensive there. Agree on being pricey, but disagree about worthiness. Iceland is totally worth going. The scenes are so unique that it can't be found elsewhere on the planet that's so easily experienced as a tourist. I think Iceland is the only country I've ever been to that I couldn't compare it to anywhere else, nature-wise. Iceland is the opposite of this question. It's expensive, but completely worth it. The Maldives for me. I'm an avid diver and a resort lover, but there's some spectacular diving in the Pacific or Indian Ocean in small resorts that cost nothing. I went to Dubrovnik, Croatia recently and didn't realize Game of Thrones was filmed there. Everything was way more expensive than I anticipated. There's so many other beautiful coastal cities in Croatia that are much less crowded and expensive. Pula has one of the oldest and best preserved Roman amphitheaters in the world. Verbnik is a picturesque Italian-style town on the island of Kark. Rovinj is just as beautiful as Dubrovnik with incredible walking streets and harborfront.